Think you know what flexibility means? Think again. There are a lot of misconceptions surrounding flexibility in power generation. Let's take a more thorough look at the challenges the rapidly changing energy landscape faces. A major energy transition is underway, and countries and regions are decarbonizing their power systems while electricity demand continues to grow. Large amounts of renewable energy sources are being added to power systems worldwide. Due to the intermittent nature of renewables, however, they don't provide constant power, as the sun isn't always shining and the wind isn't always blowing. Therefore, renewables alone can't constantly meet the demand. To ensure power systems provide electricity without interruption, high renewable power systems require fast-responding, flexible resources to help provide reliable energy. This is also why traditional baseload power plants' running hours are dropping, because they cannot balance the continuously changing demand. What does this look like in a real setting? The power system is a complex beast with several assets competing to fill its rapidly changing needs. Let's look at some actual data from the national electricity market in South Australia in August 2022 with a dispatch resolution of 5 minutes. The output of the renewables, which we can see in green, varies quite a lot during this 48-hour period. Net demand, in gray here, is the actual electricity demand minus the total renewable output. You can see that when there is a drop in renewable output, other assets need to respond to cover for it to maintain grid stability and reliability. Now let's focus on two different power plants and see how they perform in balancing the grid. This is a 211 megawatt engine power plant, which consists of 12 flexible reciprocating internal combustion engines. Here we have an 80 megawatt gas turbine power plant with 2 aeroderivative gas turbines. Let's compare their real performance with data from the 6th and 7th of August 2022. You can see the renewable output and net demand on top, and below you can see the performance of the engine power plant in orange and the gas turbine power plant in blue. Notice that when renewables can't supply enough energy to meet the demand, an immediate response is needed from the generating technologies. Let's take a closer look at the data from the afternoon of the 6th of August. At 16:30, the sun is starting to set. Because South Australia has a lot of solar power, there is a big swing in the total renewable energy output. At 16:40, as the renewable output declines, the engine power plant is immediately dispatched. It starts from standby to provide the grid with electricity within 30 seconds and ramps up to full power in 2 minutes, quickly and effectively. At 17:30, additional power is needed, and only now the gas turbine power plant starts up. The gas turbine power plant requires 5 to 8 minutes to ramp up to full load. It runs steadily for some time, while the engine power plant provides continuous balancing. As we've seen, electricity demand is not always smooth and steady. Here, we can see instances where additional power was needed, but only for short bursts of 5, 10, or 15 minutes. The reciprocating internal combustion engine power plant has the flexibility required to cover increased demand during these short periods. When we zoom out to look at the full week in which this takes place, we can see that the engine power plant is continuously ramping up and down at the minute level, whereas the gas turbine power plant operates in an on-off pattern. This is typical performance for both technologies throughout the year. It's noteworthy that the engine power plant is continuously dispatched before the gas turbine power plant due to its competitive energy cost, following the market mechanisms of the national electricity market of South Australia. Due to the continuous variability in renewables, the power system needs thermal assets that can ramp up and down quickly without racking up additional maintenance costs. Wärtsilä's reciprocating internal combustion engines have no minimum uptime or downtime, while the aeroderivative gas turbines have a minimum uptime of 10 minutes and downtime of 30 minutes. The engine power plant has superior full load efficiency. It also performs well in partial load because you only run as many engines as you need to, with high efficiency. This matters because to balance renewables, you also need to effectively operate in partial load for economic reasons. With an aeroderivative gas turbine power plant, on the other hand, performance drastically suffers in partial load, making it uneconomical. That is why when looking at the real data, you only see the aeroderivative gas turbines operating on full load or not at all. Wärtsilä's utility-grade engine power plants can perform an unlimited amount of starts and stops per day without extra maintenance costs. They can quickly ramp up and down and have no minimum up or down times. Reciprocating internal combustion engines have low minimum operating levels and high efficiency at any output. Engine power plants are more dynamic and flexible in balancing the grid, while offering higher efficiency even in partial load. Future-proof engines provide the needed flexibility to continuously balance renewables. Now, in light of this real-life data, it's time to shape the future of power generation with flexible engine power plants.